What's up, family? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Welcome to Saturday's live. Welcome to our live. Hope you had a great day. I know Saturdays are usually super busy days for most parents, for most people, but I just wanted to come on here and spend some time with you if you are available and if you are there, so we could continue to have our conversation as we're getting ready for 2025. So I want you to take a couple of minutes to share this with someone so that we can have this conversation. I'm hoping to be very brief because I know it's Saturday, but still wanted us to at least have some time to talk and continue our conversation as we are getting ready for 2025. So take a few minutes and just share the broadcast with someone, share this live so that we can have a little conversation. Again, I'm hoping not to be long today, but for us to have some time to just share something that I thought about, something that's on my heart today, which I think is going to be very important for us for 2025. So if you're watching live, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, just type up something, just, let me know you're live, let me know you're watching. And I'm just going to take a minute as well to share so that we can have more people come in and just more people being aware of what we're doing here. Again, for those who might be joining today for the first time, or those who might be coming across this video for the first time, we are getting ready for 2025. It is our year to take action. So whatever goal you've been sitting on, whatever dream you've been sitting on, whatever project you've been sitting on, we are getting ready to fire on in 2025. So I want you to have that mindset. I want you to have that mindset where you are going to take action. I want you to frame your mind so that in 2025, nothing is going to hold you back. So if you know someone who has been delayed on their projects, someone who has things that they've started and they've stopped for one reason or the other, I want you to share this video with them because this is going to be very helpful for them. And so please take some time to share this as well. Yesterday we were talking about adaptability, and yesterday's video was very short. Yesterday's live, I thought, I just wanted to make it short and sweet. But the truth is that this is a preparation for a full year. And yes, I know we want to make everything short and sweet. This is that time where, attention span is not that long. But the truth is that this information and these truths and these teachings can sustain us such that when you're in 2025 and you're going through something, you can go back and check and refresh and be like, we had talked about this and this is what we have to do. So yesterday we were talking about being adaptable, and we talked about the fact that to be adaptable, you have to be a learner, you have to be a lifelong learner. And we said the second thing was that you have to receive feedback. You have to receive feedback. And because you are a lifelong learner, when you take feedback, you're going to be able to see things that you should improve, things that you have to continue, things that you may need to stop. And then the third thing we talked about is that you have to take risks, because when you take risk, you train yourself to be adaptable. You train yourself to be able to learn, to be able to take action in any situation you find yourself. So we talked about the fact that we have to take risks. And again, because we are lifelong learners, we are committed to learning. Even when we take risks, we are going to learn from it. Again, not just any kind of risk, but calculated risks. So you want to make sure that you're taking calculated risks. Some of us have a higher risk tolerance than others, but know yourself, and regardless of wherever you find yourself on the spectrum, be open to take risks, because when you do not take risks, you will not grow. You will not know what is possible. And so being a lifelong learner, it takes about 10,000 hours to be an expert, is what we said. So ensure that every single day you're putting in some time towards your purpose, towards your goal, towards the projects that you are working on. Don't let them hang in the balance. And actually today I was thinking about something before I get into our conversation of today. Yesterday I went and got a massage, and I was thinking about the things that I have to do, which are musts. And then I was thinking about this massage that I went and did today, which is part of my self-care, which is not a must, but I did it. And it occurred to me that in our lives, there are things that are musts that we are going to do. Those are the things that if we have to stay up till midnight, or if we have to wake up at night to do, we will do them. But then there are the things that are important as well, that are not a must to do. And most times those are things that have to do with our self-care. Those are things that have to do with our projects. Those are even things that have to do with our goals, when no one is following us up, and they are just things that are good to be done. But I realize that if we don't prioritize those things, we can easily push it to the back. And when we push it to the back, we are not able to, we don't do those things. We find ourselves burnt out, we find ourselves exhausted. But the things that we must do, we are going to do them regardless. So it's okay for me to take some time that is my personal time, to do something that is not a must, because I know that whatever it is that is a must, I will do it regardless. So you can keep that tip for yourself as a self-care, or even on these projects that you're working on, to know that there are things that are must that you're going to do regardless. You're going to wake up, you're going to, grind if you have to have a deadline, but nobody's going to get on your behind that. Go get that massage, go get that, exercise, eat healthy, or whatever is that thing that you set for yourself as a personal goal for your personal nourishment. So I want you to think about that, and think about yourself and all the things that pertain to you, so that as you're taking action, in 2025, you're very intentional to take care of yourself. So that's it for that. But into today's conversation, what I'm talking about is how to overcome adversity. And I have 3 things that I can talk about on how to overcome adversity. The first thing that I want us to talk about as it comes to overcoming adversity is that we have to practice stillness. This is the first thing that came to mind today as I was thinking about adversity, is that we have to find ways to practice stillness, to be calm. Some people, based on their temperament, their demeanor, they can easily find ways to be calm. They can easily just, find ways to shut down and, take some time off for themselves. But the truth is that if you do not have that personality, you can easily find yourself, carried away. You can easily find yourself trying to react in the face of adversity. But for each and every one of us, we have to practice stillness. We have to practice just taking some time to be calm when we face adversity, because when we do, we are able to process things. We are able to think through things. We are able to find solutions to the adversity, to the problems that we face. Now, for those people who are people of faith, who know a little about the Bible, you know the story about Moses, who came before the Red Sea. And in that moment, he was confused. In that moment, he was challenged. And he had it in his spirit. He had the word of the Lord, be still and know that I am God. So what am I saying? when you're faced with adversity, you have to learn to be still. You have to practice stillness. You have to learn to be calm. Because when you practice stillness, then you can find a solution to the things, the adversity that you're faced with. And practicing stillness, sometimes you can have it for 5 minutes, you can have it for 1 hour, you can have it for a couple of days. But the truth is that when you are able to bring your emotions, your mind, and yourself to a place of calmness, then you're going to be able to process that situation. You're going to be able to overcome, figure out what is going on in that situation, and you'll probably be able to have an answer. So that's my tip number one today on how to handle adversity. Because in whatever project you find yourself trying to execute, you will have challenges. There will be adversity. There will be things that will come at you, but then you have to learn how to be still. I know that there are some people who are naturally calm, who naturally will respond to a situation just calmly. But the truth is that if this is not a matter of just a personality that can be calm, but because sometimes the people who are just naturally calm, they just use that as a way to shut down. They just use that as a way to, just swallow things up, and then they don't really they sometimes their thought process is not even the most positive, because that's their coping mechanism. But when I'm talking about practicing stillness here for everyone, is just a time to reflect, to process, to think through the situation, so that you can have the clarity of mind and the clarity of the problem. What are you supposed to do? What can you do? So my tip number one in how to handle adversity is to be still. The second thing is for you to reflect. Not being still just for the sake of being still, being quiet, but to reflect on why that adversity, what could come out of that adversity, what could be the lesson, what could be the thing that you need to learn to pick out from that adversity. That is extremely important, because when you are not able to process the situation as it pertains to something good coming out of it, then you might not be able to benefit from that adversity. But every situation that comes your way is an opportunity for you to challenge your mind, to challenge yourself, and to think about why that situation happened, to think about the lessons, to think about the solutions, to think about what is it that I'm supposed to be learning in this moment. So when you are still, that's the first thing. The second thing is having a reflection of the situation. Don't just shut it down. Don't just let your mind wander, but go through some processes. Think, what could this even be? Why is this happening? And then the third thing is that you have to look at the good in the situation. This is not just for you to think, and then spiral out of control. Let your mind spiral out of control. But you have to think, what is the good that you could learn? And what I practice personally is affirming myself in the middle of an adversity. I have come to a point where I realize that difficulties, adversities are not there to break me, but they are there to make me. So in those moments of challenges, I practice affirmations. This situation is not going to break me. Having a positive outlook, just going over those things over and over and over in my mind. When you are able to do that, that's even going to reframe your mind on how you look at things. Very funny enough, something happened to me yesterday, and it wasn't a positive thing, but then I was going to say I made a mistake. And in that moment where I was going to say I made a mistake, just because I have learned to reframe my mind I said, I learned something. And that was a powerful moment for me. And I wrote that down. Don't say I made a mistake. Say, I learned something. And that changed my whole mood. That changed my whole outlook. So when adversity comes, you are going to be able to process the situation in a positive light, understanding that it is working for your good. For people of faith, there's a scripture that says that all things work together for the good of those who love God and who are called according to his purpose. So whether you are a child, whether you are an adult, whether you are a business person, whether you're a husband or wife, all things are working for your good. So whether it is a death, whether it is just a disappointment, process things in that light. It's working for your good. You're going to learn out of this. It's going to end in praise. It's going to end in good news. It's going to end up being great. You have to process things in that way. Have a positive outlook of the situation. I know the situation might not be favorable, but your challenges as you are taking action in 2025 is for you to have a positive outlook. And then the fourth thing that I want to say is that you have to have a problem solving mindset. Learn how to troubleshoot a situation. Learn how to problem solve. Get into not defense mode, not being defensive or close up, but go through problem solving techniques. And I know there are so many problem solving techniques out there, but really try to process things, because when you're calm and you have wired your mind to understand that, okay, this is for the better, this is a challenge, not something that is meant to crush me, you're going to now start thinking about a solution. And most times that takes a while. It takes a cycle. Now, people who have taught themselves or who have developed themselves in problem solving can usually do that faster than other people. But the truth is that for you to pivot, for you to change, for you to adapt, for you to overcome adversity, you have to develop a problem solving mindset, and you have to develop problem solving skills. And the fifth thing is that you have to have a support system. Do not suffer alone. When you face adversity, have someone that you can call, that can stand with you, that can hold your hand, that can talk through the solution with you. There's somebody that can pray with you, somebody that can encourage you. Have a support system. Do not get into isolation. If there is one thing that I can say, is that do not get into isolation. The Bible says that two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. And it goes ahead to say that if one is overpowered by someone, two can withstand if they are attacked. So what am I saying? When you are faced with adversity as you're going through your business, your projects in 2025, make sure that you have someone that when it's tough, you can call. And that's the fifth thing. So those are my 5 things, top tips for you to implement to overcome adversity. I know there are so many other tips out there, but I want you, if you can focus on this few, then you can add more as you learn. And I don't know if you have any tips of your own. I want you to comment and let me know what your tips are, what you do when you face adversity. So you can comment, you can let me know what your tips are. But again, my top tips, like I've said, the first one is stillness. Absolutely learning that, absolutely loving it. I am not naturally one who's still. When stuff comes, I would naturally get riled up. And that is why I'm sharing this today, because it's something that I have personally been learning and implementing, and it's helping so much. Recently, there's one book that I saw, and it's by Mel Robbins. She's also a great motivational speaker. I'm going to probably read that book and share with us, but she's saying, she calls it the let them theory, let them. So, when things happen, and that's just to say, there are things that we can control and there are things that we cannot control, meaning that there's always going to be adversity, there's always going to be challenges, there's always going to be difficulties, but then we have to understand how to process difficulties as they come. So first tip number one, stillness, practice stillness. Tip number two, reflection, careful, gentle reflection, not letting your mind spiral and your emotions keep replaying the situation, but reflecting on what could be. What is that situation trying to show you? What is that situation trying to bring out of your life? What good is that situation trying to bring in your life? What is it trying to develop in you? My tip number three is that you have to affirm, have a positive outlook. So affirming yourself, even in the midst of the situation. This situation is not meant to break me. I'm going to come out of this stronger. This situation is meant to build me. This situation is meant to bring out the best in me. And just whatever it is that would help you to have that positive outlook of the situation. And then my tip number four is that you have to develop problem solving skills. You have to learn how to troubleshoot. Don't throw in the towel, but learn how to be resilient in troubleshooting, problem solving. This is what I have to do. And, just again, some people have more problem solving skills than others, but it is a skill that you and I can develop. Who do I need to talk to? And just looking at the situation strategically rather than looking at it as a blockage. What can I pivot? What can I change? And my tip number five is have a solid support system. Do not get into isolation when you face adversity. Be honest, be vulnerable, have people who can stand with you, who can encourage you, who can pray with you, who can be there for you, so that that situation does not overcome you, but you rise above that situation and you make the best out of it. So here is it. Those are my top 5 tips for going through adversity, because I know that we are going to face them in 2025 as we are walking through our projects, as we are walking through the difficulties. And some of those adversities could be discouragement, some of those adversities could be finances, some of those adversities could be rejection, the adversities could be so many, depending on what you're doing, depending on where you find yourself. But if you're able to apply this and more, or something else that you have that helps you to go through adversity, you're going to be able to overcome, and you're going to be able to press on and finish your goal as you're taking action in 2025. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment, and please share this with someone whom it's going to help. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you. If you've not subscribed to our channel, do so as well. Have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.